taught to separate actively. To mention your class, this life we all learn like academy. I'm trying to shine in the darkness. I had to find where my heart is. What is going on, Kingdom? So today, my name is YoungGT, and I am an advocate for change. You know what I'm saying? So listen, and being an advocate for change, I just want to talk about this topic real quick. I don't want to be too loud, but I also just want to get this topic out real quick. Listen, being an advocate for change, you know, this is like, you know, I bring the gospel of Jesus Christ, right? And one thing that the gospel tells us to do is to not live by what the world says about us, not live by the world, live by what God says about us, live by the principles of his word, what he has to say about us and to us, you know what I'm saying, and not what the world has to say. And that is more prevalent now than ever. And I just want to say real quick, you know, being an advocate for change, being an advocate for change within the world, being an advocate for changing what's in the world and bringing it to what God has to say about this, and not about what the world has to say, but about being an advocate for change in the world to bring the world to God. You know what I'm saying, is one thing that I just want to say and speak about. You know, I believe that there's so many things, you know, being an advocate for change is not going to be easy, because there's going to be adversity, there's going to be problems. You know, there is anybody, right? Some of the people that we know the best that have ever made or have been advocate for change, you know, I've been looking into some of this stuff, you know, people like black civil rights activists, you know what I'm saying, whether it would be Martin Luther King or Malcolm X or even Tupac back in the 90s, or anybody that was advocating for, you know, equality, or advocating for love and, you know, rights and justice for the black community, right? Things like this are, it's being an advocate for change, and that can go into also, you know, the stigma when it comes to gender. You know, the way that women are taught to be nowadays by the world is not right. You know, whether it's putting their bodies out there on the internet and trying to put that out is, that is what I am, that is something that is not right. You know what I'm saying? And it's coming from what the world has to say about these women, when what God has to say is these women are beautiful. These women, you know, deserve to, you know, be praised for who they are, and not just about what their body looks like. You know what I'm saying? And for men, you know, men deserve to be supported. Men deserve to support each other, and, you know, to bring and build amazing and great things. But there's so many, you know, stigmas about, you know, men. We don't, you know, we should be working on our own, doing things on our own, frick what anybody else has to say, right? Things like these things, you know, are what the world teaches us. There's even more things. What else could I say? I could keep on going. I'm trying to think, like, on the dome, just real quick, I'm trying to think on the dome, on the top of my head, some of the things that we also can, like, see within the world that is teaching us, you know, like, you see, like, people that are growing up in, like, poor communities. It's like they're taught, listen, the only way to make it out of here is if you do what everybody else is telling you to do, and you become, like, basically enslaved to what people have to say about you, what society has to say about you. You become famous. You have to become famous to get enough money to be able to, you know, put yourself out there. But then you become not only prideful, but you become enslaved to what everybody else has to say about you, and not what God has to say about you, because there's so many eyes, there's so many ears, there's so many things that are, like, just coming against you and coming onto you, and you're listening to what they have to say and not what God has to say, right? You know, these are things that I've just been kind of thinking about recently. It's like, you know, spreading the gospel, spreading things about what God has to say and not what the world has to say. There's so many people that are out here, you know, that really feel like, you know, there's not an outside way. And I just want to say that God can bring that for us, and that's why I bring the world to God, because I'm an advocate for change. And I listen, whatever you wish to see, a change in your community, a positive change, I just want to encourage you today to be an advocate for change, whether it's for, you know, the rights within the black community, or even the influence within the black community. As we can see, there's so many, you know, famous black artists that's out here, and they're talking about some things that, you know, are very sinful. These things should not be encouraged or talked about by anybody, but now it's becoming an influence on the black community, and that is a problem. And then there ends up being stigmas and stereotypes because of these problems that are going on that aren't true, but people act like they can be, but people like to act like they are true because of what's being put out there in the media. You know, nobody is one certain way because it's the way that they're born or nothing. It's because of the influences that are being brought out into social media and into their community. You know what I'm saying? And that comes from also just men, women, anything, right? And these are things that are just being pushed out there nowadays. And all that I want to say is be an advocate for change. That is all that, I want to encourage you today. Be an advocate for positive change, whether it's rights, whether it's, for a better, I try to bring out these videos and make these videos and speak because, you never know. Maybe one day this will bring somebody to God and they'll figure out, what do I want to do? Or maybe they'll see the music that I'm making and it'll help them inspire to make something great, like, what I'm doing. Or make great videos, not because they feel like they have to get views or attention, but because they feel like, it's time for me to be an advocate for change. Be an advocate for change. That's all that I really want to say today, and that's all that I really wanted to put out today. I don't have a whole lot of time, but I'm just hoping that this video maybe inspires somebody to be an advocate for change. No sin, no problems, nothing that you do that is wrong, none of that stuff. It doesn't define you. It doesn't turn you into a worse human being. None of this stuff, no sin, nothing that you've ever committed in the past makes you any worse than anybody else. And you can make a change just like anybody else can. You ain't no better than nobody else, but you ain't no worse. And you can make amazing things happen in the mighty name of Jesus. You can make incredible things happen. You can help and advocate for change in the world. And I'm just praying today for each and every person that sees this video that change is made. That change can be made. You know what I'm saying? Advocating for change in the world so that people don't end up sitting here and thinking that whatever that person has to say about me and whatever community it could be has to say about me, or whatever any, I don't really know, higher up or anything like that has to say about me. What matters at the end of the day is what God says about me. And we are all beautifully and wonderfully made in the mighty name of, in God's name. And we are all loved and equally loved in the mighty name of Jesus. That's all that I wanted to say for this video today. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, and you have an amazing day. Thank you, and God bless you.